Hi, ladies and gentlemen. It's the late evening hours of October 28th, 2017. And I put up a Periscope here a few minutes ago and decided that I needed to do this YouTube as well. And as I've said before, I've really gotten spoiled with these abilities to just do the live and get them up right away without having to edit and all of that. At any rate, I thought I'd better come on here as well. And by the title of this video, you can kind of tell where I'm going with it. There have been a lot of attacks on independent journalists who have been investigating the Las Vegas shooting situation. Hi, Phil. And it's getting more frequent and more dangerous, I think. And I wanted to come on here and explain some of the things that have been going on. Right after the shooting, of course, there was the FBI coming in and taking the cell phones from the Mandalay employees and also witnesses who came forward from the shooting at the festival and basically wiped their, good evening, Jeff, Charles, wiped their phones clean of the data, okay? Gave it back to them, sterile of anything from the festival. And a lot of the people were given gag orders as well. We've heard that. I don't have any firsthand information of that. It is secondhand, but considering the sources, it's probably reliable. So we had that situation. And then during the press conferences, of course, Laura Loomer was not allowed to come in. The independent journalists were not permitted to go into those any longer. Hi, Lemon Drop. Well, then as things progressed, there were other investigative journalists, and I'm sorry I forget his name. I think it's Adam something, and I forget who he works for right now, but he was there, and I had to get the information. Hi, Darren. I had to get the information before I come on, but I was kind of in a hurry because of the circumstances here. And, yeah, Laura was good on Hagman. At any rate, this other journalist, he was basically, when they found out he was there doing this report, you may have seen his information where they trespassed him from the Mandalay. He didn't even do anything. He was just conducting his, journalistic investigation, and they trespassed him from Mandalay. And I'm sorry I forget his name. But that was ongoing. And then witnesses started dying that had been at the festival. First of all, the lady who had, a health problem, and that could have been because of her health problem, but we're not sure. And then we had this, hi, Jay from Thailand, oh my goodness. And then we had, no, it wasn't Jason Goodman. No, it wasn't Jason Goodman. It's not crowdsourced the truth. It was another very good investigative journalist who's been doing it for quite a while, and I'm sorry I don't have his name. But not Jason Goodman. Jason Goodman is not, the only time he was told to leave was when he went over to the he went to the coroner's office, and basically they didn't help him out much there. And also he went over to Campos's house and talked to the supposed security guard there, and was met with basically an iron face. But no, it wasn't George Webb. No, it was nobody like that. No, and I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to talk about Jake Morphonios in just a minute. Okay, because that's the reason why I'm doing it. But the person that was trespassed from Mandalay was not Jason Goodman. It was not George Webb. No, it's somebody else entirely. But that's not even the point. Okay, the point is that they're attacking journalists, good investigative journalists that are investigating this Las Vegas shooting. So then we had like I said, those victims who have died under at least, the chances of all these things happening. It was like after the JFK assassination, these witnesses start disappearing. Well, so we've had 4 of those now, maybe some others, all right? Maybe people who, well, anyway, I'll just leave it at that. So we've been doing this investigation now for over a month, right? A lot of that. And yeah, we're going to, like I say, we're going to talk about Jake Morphonios here in a minute, Beth. So we had this investigation, and we've been doing it, and there's been a lot of information. And then all of a sudden, the other things start happening. I know for a fact that other investigative journalists have had their accounts hacked, their phones hacked, different types of things happening to them. For instance, I was on Periscope tonight, and I don't know. Hopefully, it doesn't happen here on YouTube. But yeah, the married couple at Vegas were killed in a car crash. A lot of strange things like that. But I'm going to get off of that for just a minute now and just say that these investigative journalists have been having some problems. On Periscope tonight, my phone locked up. It's never done that before when I was doing what I'm going to do here in just a few minutes. And so there's an obvious element out there that is trying to suppress this information. It's worse than a censor. They're trying to actually suppress it. Now, we've learned a lot since the 2nd of October, an awful lot, and I'm not here to cover that right now. I did my AAR. I did the live situation on the Las Vegas massacre. I talked about that. There's a lot of information, but all I can tell you is, because we don't want to put that out here, we have tons of information just with the people that I've been working with that is actually absolutely incredible. I can tell you there's no doubt that this is a government operation. Rogue or not, this is a government operation, okay? No doubt about it. Intelligence community. FBI's involved, there's no doubt about it. And I don't want to get into the particulars of that. But the point is that journalists have been getting attacked in various ways. Well, now we'll get to Jake Morphonios of End Times Reporting. He put out today that early this morning at about 4 a.m. he heard a gunshot outside of his house. At least that's what he anticipated it was. There's no way to prove that was what it was, but it very likely could have been a threat, a gang stalk, intimidation, that type of thing at the very least. He had his front tire slashed several times in the last few days. And he saw some suspicious characters that sat next to him in an empty theater when he went to go see Made in America. I guess it was night before last. I guess that was, Thursday night. And if you go, he put that up, so you can go to End Times Reporting and look at his video that he put up. Again, it's Jake Morphonios, and he talks about it. And I have no doubt, this guy's cool, calm, he's very intelligent. I don't think he's looking out for, just clicks on his channel or anything like that. He's a very serious reporter, and I have a lot of respect for him. So what he said is like a lot of us feel. We have this information that we've gotten, and we don't want to put it out. And we say it's because, we're trying to protect the information. We want to have the right venue. Okay? And I understand that. But you've got to understand, when you hold on to information like that, yeah, I believe him too, Lemon Drop. FAA, yeah, we're going to talk a little, yeah. People are catching on to this thing with the FAA, and I'm not going to go there right now because of some reasons I really can't explain here right now, okay? But at any rate, so what I'm saying is a lot of these people are starting to run into problems. The government, ladies and gentlemen, is not going to solve this thing. I'd like to say I have hope that Trump will get things straightened out. But hell, he can't even control the CIA. He can't control the FBI. He can't even control Jeff Sessions. This is the most pathetic. I'm not really blaming him for it. But the point is that, when you bring crooks around you, people that you know are bad, and you think that you can flip them because you're going to treat them nice or whatever the 4D, 5D chess thing is I keep hearing about, this is what you're going to run into. Somebody put on here a few minutes ago that Mueller's pushed back the charges on Monday. I don't know. I haven't seen that firsthand. But the point is, on this thing with the Las Vegas investigation, nobody in government is going to do this to find out what the truth is. Nobody. Okay? Period. They're not going to do it. The FBI's not going to do it. The CIA sure as hell isn't going to do it. And the MPD isn't going to do it because Lombardo's deep in their shit up to his eyeballs. Okay? For a long time. And I've said a lot of good things about the line officers on the LVMPD, and I still say that, especially the assault team that went in there that night but were held back. All those people that were out there trying to help the victims and all of that. Great. But by and large, LVMPD has some serious problems. And I'm not here to, unload on them, but we have had some officers, somebody in the LVMPD that's been leaking information. God help them if they find out who they are. The government finds out who they are. All right, you can tell I'm a little winded. A lot of reasons for that. Let's see if I can calm down. Okay, so Jake Morphonios has had some serious threats on him. I know others that have had cyber attacks on their computers, their phones, etc. Other things that have happened, like with Laura Loomer, like I said at the beginning. All right, if we keep holding on to this information and we never let it out, Jake, you're a perfect example. If you don't give that information, and maybe you have some dead man's triggers out there, I don't know. But nobody's analyzing this from a centralized point of view because we can't trust the government to do it. We can't trust the LVMPD to do it. We can't trust the FBI. They're closing this whole thing down. They're throwing out an official narrative, and they're not going to vary from it because they're hiding something. You know, national security is always a cover for a crime. You know, that's how it's going to be this time. There's nobody that we can depend on. We may not be able to fix it, but we can't hold on to our information anymore, okay? So this is what I'm proposing, and I don't have the answer as to who should do it. I'm just saying that someone that can be trusted, that has the resources, needs to step up and do this. All these investigative journalists, from Laura Loomer to Morphonios to everybody, we need to have a central depository for the information. Somebody who can gather this information together, keep it, and analyze it. Are there dangers to that? Yeah, but that doesn't mean you don't hold on to the material. It means that you share it. That's how law enforcement organizations work. They bring this information in, and they have detectives, of course, that analyze it, or intelligence people or whatever. All right? The independent journalist community, we don't have a place like that. And it's one of our weaknesses as being independent and liberty-minded. You know, we're very much, you know, I'm going to do this myself regardless of what anybody else does. And that's laudatory. That's, yeah, all of those people, Lauren, all those people. It's laudatory and it's honorable, but it's also a little bit on the stupid side, because unless that information can be analyzed the way it should be, it'll never get to the point where a cohesive, understandable presentation of what happened that's truthful, as near as the truth as we can get, will ever get out there. And the FBI depends on that happening, that the independents won't get together to do that. The CIA depends on it, and I can guarantee you that Lombardo wants it that way too. So, what is the purpose of this video? We have to have somebody out there, and again, I'm not saying who it should be. Hi, Charles, Hobbins, Charlestown, all these people that are coming in here, I appreciate it. We have to have somebody with the resources and the willingness to bring personnel in that can go through all of this information, be a central repository, you know, file all this stuff in the proper categories and look at it and start, you know, correlating the evidence, all right, on an independent basis. In other words, outside the government, because the government's going to lie to us no matter what. Not saying that anything will ever happen with that information, because the government can just say, we're not going to listen to you. You know, you're not following chain of evidence. You're not, all that's crap, right? We don't need that. We're investigative journalists, okay? We need to do that. So what I'm putting out here, and I'm going to ask all of you to, you know, send this information far and wide, to ask someone who will be willing to receive all this information, that has the resources to be able to file it and all of that, and to bring people in to analyze it. Are there dangers of that? Well, if the organization's, you know, going to have to bring in new people, they could get infiltrators, yes, but I'm not really concerned about that, because even if they destroy the evidence in the central repository, you know, the independent journalists will still have their information. So that's going to be hard to do unless they start killing everybody. And I don't think they're ready to do that yet. Okay. But we need this central place. So I'm asking one more time that we get off of this idea that, you know, we want to jealously hold on to our work product, because that's going to be a danger in the end. It's never going to get released the way it needs to. You know, the Washington Post reporting the whole situation on Watergate, you know, on the New York Times, and nobody in those places is putting it together. The only reason why it finally worked was because there was a counter thing in the government that could work it out. We don't have that now, ladies and gentlemen. The entire government. I'm not saying everybody's bad, but there's so many people in there that don't take their oaths seriously, and they're in there for themselves and for the New World Order, the deep state, etc., the shadow government, that we can't depend on the government to do this. So again, let's put this out to ask some organization. Somebody mentioned Alex Jones. I think he's probably already over the top on this, although a lot of this stuff he probably already knows. I don't know. I'm not saying who should do it. I'm just saying it's a necessity. So I'm just going to leave it there, and please pass this out. Again, we need somebody who is willing to accept all this information from all the independent journalists, categorize it, and analyze it. Make the connections, corroborate information, and find out what's going on. I will say up front, at this point in time, with all that's been done, and I've said it before, there is no question that this is a government-run operation at some level. Some people say it's rogue or whatever. I don't really care, because if you're a good government person and you're not investigating this the way it should be, you're helping the roguesters out. Okay, whether they're domestic intelligence agencies or foreign, it doesn't matter. They're all together in this. The intel community, just like I say on my motto on this channel, the intel community is our most dangerous domestic enemy. But in order to get the real story out about what's happened in Vegas, we have to have a place where we can gather, correlate, corroborate, and analyze the information. Okay? Some people mentioned helicopters here earlier in the transmission. You won't believe what we found out. You won't believe it. I mean, this thing was run, just like I said in my AAR, this was a very professional military operation. And when the truth comes out on this, it's going to make a lot of people very, very angry. Okay? So why am I not sharing the information at this point? Well, because we do have people that have agreed to close hold some of the stuff at this point in time. But we have shared it with some important people as well. But in order to properly do this investigation and get it to the point where the truth can come out, we need this central depository, analytical group, whatever you want to call it, that can make sense of everything. Because there's a lot of disinformation out there, but as we look at some of this disinformation, a lot of it is based on actual occurrences, okay? Whether staged or not. Okay. All right, I've already taken 18 minutes as it is at this time. I guess since I'm here, I could go ahead and answer some questions. I saw a bunch come up, but I wanted to get that out. Let's see what we got. I agree. Sorry I was late. Don't know what I missed. Thanks. Bless you. Stay safe. I'm just saying that the independent journalists that are out there holding on to information about the Las Vegas shooting that they've discovered, we need to have a central repository to analyze and corroborate and coordinate the information and analyze it. That's basically what I'm saying. Crowdsource the truth. I don't think so. That's not going to work for a lot of reasons, which I don't want to go into right here. Let's see, who else has any questions here? This can't be crowdsourced, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the way an analyzing tool would work, is throwing it out to the crowdsource. We need to have a central location, like I said, where people that have investigative understanding, talent, training, experience, prowess can look at this stuff and coordinate it all together. We may not be here next week. a lot of crazy things are happening, I know. And like I said earlier in this transmission, the worst thing we can do at this point is hold on to information that we have. And that's why I'm saying that, I'm certainly willing to, and I already have, to share the information that I have with people that can do something with it. But this has to happen across the board in a centralized location. You have to have startup capital. That's why I say at this point that would be almost impossible to do in the time element we're talking about. We need somebody who's already fairly well firmly established, okay? Whether it's Alex Jones, whether it's Hagman, whether not crowdsource the truth, that kind of system won't work for this, okay? That's all I'm going to say about it. But it has to be something pretty substantial. And I'm not certain who that is. Maybe there's somebody out there who would be willing to fund something like that, but we really don't have time to go on a thing to look for support. Okay, we just don't. And that's a weakness that the independent people have. They're not organized to really handle something like this, where the government and all their rogue operations are, you see? And there they have the power of the state to keep people from, giving information and actually looking into the truth of things. Okay, it's two stages. Okay, I'm missing a lot of stuff. Give it to Monty. Monty Williams? Is that who you're talking about? Okay. I don't need the answer here now. The important thing is just to get this video out there so that it can be, the fact of the matter of this thing can be discussed amongst those who have the resources to possibly set up this central repository. This Las Vegas shooting is central to everything the deep state is doing right now. Everything. Everything foreign, North Korea, Uranium One, pedophilia, human trafficking, banking, false flags, ISIS, Black Lives Matter, La Raza, you name it. This was a central government operation to get moving down that road faster. Okay, that's it. I understand we're having some problems with the connection here right now. My phone's been attacked today. Okay, that's what I'm using here. My phone has been attacked, and if you see it skipping around or whatever, it's probably for that reason. All right, let's see what else we have here. Anybody else have any questions? Pray to God. Yes, absolutely. If you want it done perfectly, you owe it to yourselves to look at George Webb. Look, George Webb is on a specific spot, okay? He's doing the work over there with the Iran deal and all that. That doesn't have anything to do with the Vegas shooting. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. So no, George Webb's doing great. Let him do what he's doing there. But no, we need to have a place where we can concentrate on this Vegas situation because it's that important. Also, Podesta was good friends with Paddock. Well, there's a lot of connections there, that's for sure. MSM YouTube channels pushing for gun control of us. So now that's going to continue because they're making their big push now. They really are. The big question is well, I appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to have a problem probably here real quick with this November 4th thing, either right before or afterwards. So the DoD hasn't put out any warnings to the public for their incoming EMP drills. See? Of course not. All right. We know that drills are often a cover for something else. And that could be the case, but I don't want to cause an alarm on that. But the timing, you got to admit, is kind of weird, right? Is Antifa planning on, with ISIS help or with the government's help with these different little rogue groups in there to take out parts of the grid? Who knows? Frankly, I wish that, like I said months ago when I first started talking about this, I wish that Trump would have realized he was in a war. And just like Eisenhower did with Area 51 back in, the 50s. They didn't want to tell him what they were doing out there, and he said, look, I'm going to send in the First Army, and we're going to level you if you don't tell us what you're doing out there. Trump should have done that with the CIA and the FBI. He should have gotten the 7th Infantry Division. He should have gotten the 1st Division. He should have gotten Air Cav, and just gone in there and pulled up and said, come on out with your hands up. All right, that's what he should have done. And I called for it then because now I don't know, all this politicking, I don't know that it's going to do any good. We'll see. Maybe he's smart and he's doing it the right way, but I don't have a real nice, warm, fuzzy feeling about it myself. Okay, the guy in Tennessee with the weapons who was arrested, all of this ties in. Okay, there we go with the connection problem again, it says. All right. I don't want to take a whole lot of time here. Let me see. We need to use internet as long as we have it. True, we do. Any other questions I can answer real quick? Do you have emphysema? No. It's another problem. It's what a lot of people will know that I had a medical thing that happened several years ago. It was caused by a foreign substance. No, I wasn't a drug user. This was something that was given to me without my knowledge, and it made me very sick. And so I've been going through a regimen to correct that and to get back healthy again. And it's an up and down thing, but actually I'm doing better now than I have been for a long time. Okay, anything else that we can talk about? All right, I'm going to leave it there. Please get out there and tell everybody that these independent journalists flood this out there and say we need somebody out there who can be a central repository for all this information. We can't force these independent journalists to give such a place their information. We can't force it. But unless we do something like that, we're not going to win this thing on discovering the real truth of Vegas. We're just not. There'll be a lot of people out there with a lot of good stuff. I know I've got a lot, and I know Morphinos has a lot, and I could say some others. But independently, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. We need something that we can go forward and really point some fingers in the end. Okay? All right. Montegraph is good. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Montegraph. I do. Yeah, but he doesn't have the resources to do this either. I'm talking about an existing organization because we don't have time to build one. And that's a weakness, like I said. And the government's depending upon that, the bad elements in the government. All right. Thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and sign out. And I'm not sure when we'll see. AMTV is good. Yes, very good. Again, he doesn't really have the resources either. We need somebody. Newsbud would be possible. Maybe. I'm not certain. That's why I say send this out there and let's see what we end up with. There's a lot of coordination going on right now, I can tell you, amongst very, very good investigators. And I'll tell you what could break very soon on this Las Vegas thing. I've often said, just go ahead and embarrass the government. Just embarrass them. We're very close, ladies and gentlemen, very close. All right. Yes, Lauren, I am. I will. Lauren just asked if I'm coming on tomorrow night. It was asked of me, I might as well tell you, on Periscope tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central, I am going to be doing a little discussion on how you can prepare for what Antifa might do starting this week. Okay, November 4th is the official day, but it could happen any time before or after that, and any length of time. So on Periscope tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central, we're going to be talking about nothing formal, just some basic background information and some easy things you can do to try to protect yourselves. And they're commonsensical. You're not going to, I don't think there's going to be anything there real revelatory, okay? It's probably not. Okay, so I know a lot of you don't have Periscope, and I apologize for that. If I get enough requests to do one on YouTube, I'll probably do that too. I'd like to broadcast both at the same time, but I just don't have the capability to do that under the circumstances, and I apologize. All right, I'm going. You all take care. God bless you. Pray hard. We're going to need it. We're coming into a very, very difficult time. We've been there for a while, but this is where we're going to really make the divide, okay? It's really coming in. Take care. Thanks a lot.